Ladies and gentlemen, for a session sponsored by Travelsify, please welcome co-founder and CEO Travelsify, Bruno Chauvat, in discussion with Skift X executive editor Greg Oates.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for those of you who have been to Skift Forums before, you will know this man, Bruno Chauvat, the co-founder and CEO of Travelsify. Thank you, Bruno, for joining us again.
Thank you, Greg.
For those of you who are new, just a little bit of background of Travelsify. The company uses a proprietary AI technology to evaluate the true guest experience at hotels, as well as restaurants and vacation rentals. But today we're going to talk about hotels. So what do we mean by true guest experience? It's really the hotel DNA, sort of this matrix of identifiers and descriptors that provide a much more comprehensive and nuanced view of that specific properties. So that's been successful. Today we're here to talk about something new, though, this year. Travelsify launched Hotel Brand DNA. So this is now looking at brands two different ways, maybe three, but we'll look at two here. One is comparing one hotel brand, the peculiarities of a hotel brand group against another hotel brand group. And then another way of looking at that is a hotel within a group portfolio, and to see how it maybe is a brand advocate or detractor or sways from the hotel group's baseline DNA. Did I get that pretty close?
Yeah.
Okay. So we wanted to talk about this hotel brand DNA, and we have some big news at the end of this session. But first, Bruno, can you just expand on hotel brand DNA and how you actually use AI to pull this data?
Yes, sure, great. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to start by giving some context about how we create the hotel DNA and then the hotel brand DNA. At Travelsify, we have analyzed more than 400 million user reviews, guest reviews, and we have discovered that people talk as much about the coziness or the spaciousness of the room as about breakfast. They speak 4 times more about the decoration of the hotel than about Wi-Fi. So these are really elements that matters to the guests. So we built an AI-driven technology to extract these hotel DNA descriptors that matters to the guests. Hotel DNA descriptors such as stylish, spacious, views. We have more than 35 today. And with this technology, one of our innovations lies in the fact that we are able to say this hotel is 20 or 80% luxury. That one is 30% spacious or 70% spacious. So it's really a tool which enables us to compare hotel with each other, hotel within a brand, or hotel, as you said, compared to other competing brands. So I would say that as Netflix did reverse engineer the Hollywood industry with the creation of 77,000 microgenres to understand what were the preferences of their subscribers for movies and TV series, and then leverage these microgenres to produce TV series that people like. As Travelsify, we did a bit the same in a sense that we reverse engineering the hospitality industry thanks to our hotel DNA and hotel brand DNA descriptors. So that enabled us to close the gap between the guest expectation and the reality. Mm-hmm. So I gave a little bit of detail, but it's because recently, when discussing with a large US hotel group, the executive was asking us, with your AI technology, would you be able to do the hotel brand DNA, and not only the hotel DNA? And that was of particular importance for him and for his group because they wanted to check the consistency of the brand, mm-hmm. and especially to be able to identify the brand detractors. because brand detractors could have an impact on the image of the brand, on the loyalty of the guest, and ultimately on the RevPAR. So we delivered the data very rapidly because of our large and global database of more than 500,000 hotel DNA. And it was a way for the hotel to really look at the hotel brand detractors, the ones which are putting at stake the financial performance. So it was really that consistency which was important to them. And I think it's important to define a bit what we are thinking about consistency. Consistency is the ability for a brand to consistently deliver a kind of experience that guests want. It's not at all the standardization, the uniformity of the rooms across the hotels. But if your brand is synonym with XYZ experience, whatever the location, whatever the ultimate experience, it should deliver that kind of experience.
Okay, perfect. And I remember speaking with Tina Edmondson, who's the head of luxury for Marriott after Marriott acquired Starwood. And she said the biggest concern she has is they now have 30 brands, but how do you delineate each of their stories so that they don't start to, brand creep, and one sort of blends into the other? So that's really what we're talking about today with Hotel Brand DNA. Can you provide any sort of more specific key insights, or I know you can't name specific brands, but just any sort of case studies or examples where someone has already benefited from using the Hotel Brand DNA?
I think that monitoring the performance of a brand is not something which is based on a static picture at a given time of the brand. The performance of the brand should be looked at in a timely manner, meaning to look at the trend, the evolution of the brand over time, but also it should not be looked at as a standalone, and it should be compared and to be seen in a kind of geographical scope. So to give you two concrete examples, a couple of weeks ago, we alerted one luxury hotel brand about the fact that the luxury brand descriptor was decreasing in a meaningful way over summertime. So it was beginning of September. We already had the information of what happened in summertime. And we said, you should pay attention at that. And they said, yes. They confirmed to us that they went through a meaningful financial underperformance with that luxury hotel brand. But more than that, they were amazed by the fact that we were able to pinpoint that without having any insider information. So they did not give us some evolution in terms of RevPAR or whatever, but we delivered the data and we showed them this is the evolution and this is why. So that's a real concrete element, because to manage a brand, then to realize that there is a financial underperformance, then start launching national or international market surveys, then analyzing the results, then making the right decision and taking action. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's really a long-lasting process. With our data, we can do, I don't want to say live, but almost, because in that specific example, the data were until 31st of August, and we delivered the case, it was the 10th of September. So that's one of the examples. The other one could be the fact that we have looked at the luxury segment, and we did a survey over more than 70 destinations in 4 continents, mm-hmm. with 18 luxury hotel brands. So it means that more than 550 hotels. Based on that, we are able to see the competitive relevancy of each of the brands. And I can tell you that we are able to see the future rising stars, mm-hmm. and the one which have some work to do rapidly if they don't want to shift from luxury to upper scale. We were also able to see the brands which are traveling a lot, if I may say, mm-hmm. in that industry, meaning the brands which are able to scale with the ability to sustain that luxury experience across multiple destinations and multiple hotels.
Okay. So I like what you said about this is about consistency of hotel experience, not uniformity of hotel product. Of course, the old pushback against corporate hotels years ago was if you're in Sao Paulo or Shanghai, you use the same linen, same decor and everything. We're not talking about that, but that consistency of guest experience adapted to the location is really important here. So as we used that other example before with Marriott, there's all of this merger and acquisition activity. There's all of these larger hotel brands introducing sub-brands. So it's just getting more and more complicated for the consumer to match up, because this is what this is about, matching the right consumer with the right property, right? It's just going to get more and more difficult. So your timing, launching this, is propitious in the sense that just the demand is coming from the hotel owners to say, help us identify our portfolio against other portfolios and make sure that we're measuring all the hotels within that portfolio to fall within that specific identity.
Yeah, I think I agree perfectly with what you said, and I think that we are currently at a kind of crossroad with two directions. On one hand, with respect to what you said about shifting from uniformity of product to experiences, I was happy recently because the executive of a large US group told us Google is IQ, Travelsify is EQ. So we are reflecting that shift towards the experience because we are reflecting the way the hotels are perceived by the guests in their experience. So it's not, let's say, standardized approach, it's individual approach. The second direction is with the rise of the asset-light business model. You're right, obviously, saying that there are more and more brands in the portfolio of the large groups. And they are facing multiple intrinsic challenges in managing that. The first one is making sure that the brands are not cannibalizing each other or overlapping. And ultimately, it's better if they are complementary to each other. We are able to see that and to pinpoint rapidly whether two brands are really overlapping or really there is a huge gap in their portfolio. That's something that we can see easily. And once again, that's this unique global database which enables us to see that.
I like that comparison. So the IQ versus EQ, really the objective and the subjective. And so brands are looking to measure something that's much more subjective than they had to in the past, and the hotel brand DNA is a way to facilitate that. Okay, you had some big news in the last couple days. You closed on a 5 million euro investment. The press release came out this morning, but I imagine a lot of people here haven't seen that yet, so why don't you tell everyone what happened?
Yes, we are very happy to announce that we closed a 5 million euro fundraising, which was led by Accor Hotel and with the participation as well of the existing investors. So we are very happy to welcome Accor as a minority shareholder. But beyond the money which has been invested by Accor, what is really making us very happy is the fact that it's a signal that what we have been doing for a couple of years now, building that database, is of paramount interest for the industry. And that's really immediately 2 years ago when Sébastien Bazin looked at what we are doing, he saw the potential of Travelsify. And Accor decided to invest when they realized that we have today a global, unique, high-quality database of more than 1 million travel product DNA. Because as you said at the beginning, we do hotels, but we do restaurants, vacation rentals. So they realized that, and all of a sudden, there was also the fact that they realized that our data could be leveraged in many use cases. We spoke about branding, but in previous discussion on Skift forums, we spoke about personalization, we spoke about conversational commerce. These are all the use cases that could be leveraged by our data. So I think that we are really thrilled to have Accor on our side, at our side, to help in the mission to help the industry to close the gap between the guest expectation and the reality, whether it's at the level of the brand, whether it's at the level of the expression when speaking to Alexa. That's the same. That's understanding the product at the end. And so we will use these 5 million to further develop our product and to make sure that our data could be used by as many players as possible in the industry.
Very good. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
And thank you very much for joining us again today.
Thank you.